What's happening, FlowChat Connector? In this video, I'm going to share NLP in high ticket sales when it comes to using pattern delivery to book more appointments. This is a good one. Stay tuned. What's happening, FlowChat Connector? Sean back at you with another high ticket turn up. I hope you're doing well. Bam! We are continuing and actually bringing our NLP series to a close for now. Today's session, and what we're going to cover today is something that I think is really, really valuable. This is where we kind of put all the NLP tricks together that we've been covering over the last several weeks. And so if you haven't seen the rest of the series, go back and watch that, binge watch it. It's going to really, really help your sales game. And don't forget to smash that like button and share this out to everybody else that actually needs this, because we need, number one, to feed the algorithm gods, but number two, we need more subscribers on this channel because this stuff is gold. It's so good. And so with that said, what are we going to cover today, Sean? Well, we're going to talk about using pattern delivery to book more appointments. See, up to this point, I've only given you a little tidbit or a tip or a trick or something that you can deploy in your day today or tomorrow or even yesterday. And so what I wanted to do now is I wanted to kind of wrap it up all together, because I got a great question that actually came from Perry, and Perry asked me this. He said, Sean, I have trouble connecting at network events with new people. Do you have any pointers that could help? And yeah, of course I do, right? This is how we pull it all together. So imagine yourself walking into a networking event and you have this trepidation or this fear of connecting with new people, right? It's common. It's okay. It's not your fault, right? Why? Because as we grew up, we were always taught, like, don't listen to strangers. Strangers are stranger danger. But as you climb into entrepreneurship, you climb into business ownership, you climb into sales, you have to talk to strangers. So what we need to do is actually break that belief pattern that you have. If you were taught don't talk to strangers, stranger danger, we need to actually connect with more people. And so using NLP, how do we do that? Well, we put some of these pieces together, and using pattern delivery is the secret. So in the conversation, up until this point, I've been talking about all the little tips and techniques and strategies and stuff that you can use daily. But starting the conversation, we need to have a whole pattern that we can follow, that it makes it easy for us to go and connect with people at networking events, or even if you're just starting a fresh conversation with somebody new. It doesn't have to be at a networking event. This one's valuable. So let's dive into some of the slides here. And I'm pretty excited about this one. I think this one's going to be pretty good for you guys. So I've been studying a guy named Ted McGrath. If you don't know who he is an international speaking coach. He teaches persuasion, confidence, sales, a bunch of really, really cool stuff. And he's really good at it. And his move is message to millions. He wants to help other entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants get their message out to millions of people. In reading one of his recent blog posts, one of the things that I discovered is he's a master at NLP. And as I was reading through this blog post, I was like, whoa, there it is. He's got this thing called a 4S system that I'm going to cover today. So thank you, Mr. McGrath. In fact, I'm actually meeting with him and his team later today because they're interested in our FlowChat software, which is amazing. But what is an NLP pattern delivery? All right, well, here's the definition. An NLP pattern delivery is simply a framework that can be used to manage any high ticket sales conversation. It can be used to manage any networking event. It can be used to manage any of that stuff. And so it's just simply a pattern of framework that you can stick in your head that's very easy to remember, and you can default to the system every time. Here's how it works. Repeat. So here's an example. This again comes from Ted McGrath. It's his 4S system. And when I read this, I was like, this is a perfect introduction that I can share with Perry here, and Perry can win. So his 4S goes like this. First, you make a statement. Then you share the system you use. Then you talk about your story, and then you book a strategy session. So statement, system, story, strategy session. That's it. 4 S's. If you can remember those 4 S's, you're going to be in great shape, right? And if you're in a networking event, the reason I have the repeat GIF here is because if you are at a networking event, you can use this pattern with person A. You can, detach from the conversation after you've booked a strategy session, go to person B, do the same pattern. Go to person C, do the same pattern. And that's the secret, because when you have the formula, you don't have to rely on building up your confidence or your self-esteem. You don't have to freak out or be frustrated about, I don't know what to say when I go talk to somebody. This is how you do it. You always start with a statement. And so here's how we use it, because I think seeing how we can use something like this is very valuable. So first of all, what's a statement that you could use? Here's a template that you can put in place for you today. So you walk up. So I'm going to put you in the place. You go to a networking event. Perry, you're at the networking event because this is a question from Perry. And you see a bunch of people that might be a good fit for you. What do? Well, you walk up to the first person. You say, hey, how's it going? And they're going to be like, oh, it's good. How's it going? And you're like, good. And then you could say, or they could say, hey, what do you do? right? That's typically one of the first questions that comes out at any networking event, and it's totally fine because you already have an answer. Here's your statement. I help, enter the people you help, right? Should be the person you're talking to. And I teach them how to do the thing that you teach, not how you do it, but it's, hey, and I teach them this, and then how to get that result. And when you say this statement, so example in my world is like, I help entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, consultants, and sales professionals, and I teach them how to master the lost art of prospecting and communication. And then I teach them how to build their business to a level that they've never achieved using systems. Oh my gosh, Sean, well, how do you do that? Now we say, I have a system. Right? So first one is statement. This is a very blanket statement. If you don't have one of these statements, you need to put this into your world like today, now, right now. Figure this one out. Spend a lot of time on it. Spend way more time on it than you think you need to actually spend on it. And they say, well, how do you do that? Well, I've actually developed the name of your process or system. It's a type of program that gets this type of result in a certain time. So again, my example is going to be, well, my team and I have developed this breakthrough software. It's called FlowChat. It's actually the future of sales. It's the most incredible business generation system that I've ever come across, and it's taken me almost 3 decades with my team to build it. And it's a very simple program that's a 3-step program, right? And what it does is it allows you to grow your business, even probably double your revenue in the next 90 days. Depending on who you're talking to, that might be what you could say, because we have those results and we can prove them, right? And so then they're like, oh my gosh, that's really, really interesting. And now we've gotten deep into this conversation simply because I said, here's the statement of what I do and how I do it. Here's the system that I use to do it. Now, it could be, hey, I've developed the Sean proprietary system. I've developed, one of the other ones we have is a selling system. I teach sales, right? So it's like, I've developed the Ascension selling method. It's a 7-point system that actually walks you through each and every high ticket sales call that you've ever had. It covers all the missing elements. It allows you to shorten your sales cycles and allows you to close more deals faster. Oh my God, that system sounds amazing. Right? That's what they're going to be thinking and saying. And you do it yourself. Like write this down, take a screenshot. Here's what I'll do. Let me remove the banners off the page here so you can, there we go. So now you can actually just take a picture of this because I think it's really, really valuable. So now you have the system, you have the statement that you said. What's next? Well, we need to tell a story. So then they're going to say, man, how did you come up with that? Oh, well, let me tell you my story. Back 20 years ago when I started, blah, 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 and take them through this epiphany of how you realize that you needed the system in your world. And now you've gotten it there. And the hook on the story element here, if you've never read Michael Haug's The Tale of Two Stories about how to tell the story correctly, like go and learn that, because what we want to do, the story is not techno jargon. It's not this, that, or the next thing of your knowledge and how good you are, but rather it's this discovery process that you had from when you discovered you had a problem to you realized that there was an actual solution that you could plug into, and you learned it and you move forward. Because the idea is when you're telling this story, you want to be able to project, again, another NLP terminology is you want to project your story onto your prospect so they feel like they're walking the journey with you. And then they're like, oh, I've had that same problem for so long. And when you get that, you just ask, hey, well, it sounds like we should talk a little bit more. Let's book another time after this meeting today and we'll sit down and chat about it. I'd love to hear your part of it. Oh, perfect. Okay, grab out your calendar really quick. Let's book a date and time on the calendar. And this is an NLP pattern delivery that you can use. Again, here it is. Make a statement. You share your system you use of how you do that statement. You share the story or the epiphany of how you got to that place, and then you book a call. And if you remember using this particular framework each and every time you go into a conversation, you're going to have massive results. I know you're going to have massive results. Why do I know? Well, first of all, Ted McGrath has made millions and millions and millions of dollars doing this exact thing. I've used a different framework for my NLP pattern deliveries. Again, I teach high ticket sales, so I have a different flow of my conversations. It's 7 points, not 4. But again, doesn't matter. Here's a pattern that you can stick to. And this is what's going to allow you to get more confident when you go out and speak to the world. And so I hope this one helped you today. With this said, you've just been tuned up. And guess what? That's it for the NLP series for now. And we'll be diving into some really, really cool stuff here very, very soon. So make sure to smash that like button if this was valuable to you. Share it out to some people. We got to feed the algorithm gods just a little bit. And I look forward to seeing you next time.